If you feel like you've been stuck in a certain circumstance and you've been feeling powerless to shift it, I'm going to share with you a couple ways you can affirm just using law of assumption to quickly just move beyond all of that, okay? So one thing you can do is you can kind of disconnect from the identity of someone who has those problems, okay? So I don't care if you've been experiencing life one way since the day you were born. I mean, I do because I love you and I don't want you to suffer, but like for the sake of this, I don't care. It doesn't matter how long that's been going on. You now from this point forward are a version of you who's totally different, who doesn't have those problems. You can just start affirming like, oh, actually, I'm no longer someone who experiences that. I'm so glad I don't experience that anymore. I'm so glad that's done and taken care of. I don't know what I was so worried about. That just fell out of my reality really quickly. Like, so you can just start affirming that like you're not someone who experiences that. Like, start denying your senses. Be like, this doesn't happen in my reality. So essentially what you're doing is putting a boundary in place. You're like, I actually no longer experience that in my reality. That's not who I am. That may have been the me for like 30 years, but I no longer experience that. So that's one way. Another way, you can just be like, I'm so glad I don't experience that anymore. I don't know why I was so worried about that. I kind of talked about this. This is like talking like you're on the other side of it, right? Like, I feel so relieved now that that's taken care of. Like, I'm so glad that's not my problem anymore. So you can kind of just like deny it and be on the other side of it. That's another way. You can use the I remember when way of speaking. So you're like, I remember when I was so stressed out about that. And I don't know what I was worried about. That just got taken care of so quickly and easily, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can word that. All of them essentially implying that it's no longer an issue for you. It's no longer something you experience. So you can do that. You can also affirm like a revision. So let's say you have a situation that seems like it's kind of spiraled out of control, or let's say there was like a deadline and you wanted something and it hadn't happened by then. Be like, actually, no, I already have that. Like, that never happened, right? So, or like they're already over it. So let me try to think of some specific examples. Let's say you had a misunderstanding with someone. You can be like, oh yeah, it's like that never even happened. You can just straight up revise it and say it didn't happen, or you could say they're already over it. It's like it never happened, right? Or that's already been resolved. It's like it never happened. You can even affirm that like the situation, whatever it is, never even happened. And you can also totally close out timelines, right? So I like to do this. I'll be like, if something looks like it's going down a bad trajectory, like it's just a negative spiral, I'll be like, that timeline, that story is done and over. Like, that door is closed, permanent, full stop. Like, that timeline is dead to me. It literally doesn't even exist. These are all ways you can deny your senses, deny what you've been experiencing up till now, and just shift the energy. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get what you consistently think about and what you're feeding your energy to. So sometimes we just need to like be a little delusional and be like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, this isn't even a thing. Like, I don't experience this in my life. This is not who I am. Like, you have to at some point, like, full stop, put a boundary down. Like, this isn't it anymore. And if you need to revise and be like, this never happened, or be like, that's already taken care of. I'm already on the other side. Whatever you need to do to just stop that downward negative spiral, because really you get what you think about, you get what you focus on. So just start affirming that like this thing isn't even an issue, right? Like, either it never happened or it was resolved so quickly that it's like it never even happened. Okay, so I intend that this was helpful. And if this is something where you're like needing more support, I would love to help you. You can look in my bio for the ways to connect with me. I have personal readings, email coaching, and a lot of beautiful self-paced programs.